Well, I just learned something interesting. I just walked by one guy in the last 40 minutes, and he's heading down. And all I could hear in the distance was a tiny dinging bell. And when he got close to me, I noticed he had a little brass bell hanging on his backpack, and it was ringing. And I said, I'm just curious what the bell's for. He says it's to ward off bears. He said, just be careful, it's starting to get dark. They come out to eat around dusk, so get your butt down the hill as quick as you can. And he said, if you don't have a bell, make as much noise as you can when you're walking, because I guess the larger the animal, the larger the noise. If you make tiny noise, he'll think you're a tiny animal. So when I'm finished with the ink pots, I'm gonna maybe blast some Justin Bieber music from my phone or something, and I figured that'll piss off pretty much every animal and the whole bloody mountain. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of This Is How I See It. If you've been following my channel, I'm on a cross-Canada road trip. I started in Ottawa, my hometown, working all the way to the west coast and documenting basically everything I'm seeing. I just left Banff. I'm now on my way to Jasper, Alberta. It's approximately about a 4.5 hour drive, but I have about 25 to 30 things to see on the way. So this video is strictly from Banff to Jasper, everything in the middle. And I'm about to go along the Bow River Parkway because I'm going to go see a canyon, some backwaters, some lookout views, Lake Louise, a whole bunch of different things. So welcome to This Is How I See It, Banff National Park.
Yeah. Special.
So this gives you an idea of the area. I'm going to hike along this path up to the lower falls, 1.5 kilometers away, and then up to the upper falls. And if I have time, I want to go up to the ink pots as well. Welcome to Johnston Canyon. So welcome to Lower Falls. So when I was in Calgary, I actually spoke to a couple of doormen, bouncers at a nightclub. They were checking ID outside whenever we had a chat, and I was telling them what I was going to see here in Alberta when I hit Banff and on the way to Jasper, and they said, make sure you see this canyon, which is what you've been seeing, and they said do the two waterfalls, but everyone stops at the high waterfalls. No one does that extra hour hike to the ink pots. And I guess the reason they're called ink pots is the color of the water. So I won't say anything more until we get there. Hopefully I make it. Running out of daylight a little bit, so it'll be 2 hours back. So let's see. Fingers crossed. So that was Upper Falls that you just saw. Oh, I'm halfway. Let's keep going. Okay, so I misread the signs. That falls was Lower Falls, Upper Falls, but not the Upper Falls, Upper Falls. So the big falls we're about to see is actually Upper Falls, Upper Falls. So this one here is the small falls, which is above the upper falls, which means it's upper falls for the big falls, but not the small falls. Something like that. It's true. When you get past the waterfalls, the tourists stop. There's no people up here at all. Well, I just learned something interesting. I just walked by one guy in the last 40 minutes, and he's heading down. And all I could hear in the distance was a tiny dinging bell. And when he got close to me, I noticed he had a little brass bell hanging on his backpack, and it was ringing. And I said, I'm just curious what the bell's for. He says it's to ward off bears. He said, just be careful, it's starting to get dark. They come out to eat around dusk, so get your butt down the hill as quick as you can. And he said, if you don't have a bell, make as much noise as you can when you're walking, because I guess the larger the animal, the larger the noise. If you make tiny noise, he'll think you're a tiny animal. So, when I'm finished with the ink pots, I'm gonna maybe blast some Justin Bieber music from my phone or something, and I figured that'll piss off pretty much every animal and the whole bloody mountain. So yeah, ding a bell or make a shit ton of noise. Good to know. Almost there. I finally made it to the ink pots. So it says, spring water percolates up through the sand and river gravel here to form 5 blue-green pools known as ink pots. Look for swirling circles in the sandy pool bottoms. These mark the outlets of water and air bubbles as they move upward from the underground springs. Pretty damn cool. The water is coming from under the ground. And creating a river. Baby, 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 oh, like baby, 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 oh, baby, baby. I can't sing Justin Bieber. Alright, so I made it back to the van after, probably 3 hours up, 3 hours down. It was a pretty good hike. I didn't get eaten by bears. I guess my beautiful Justin Bieber singing worked. It's now almost dark. I'm going to work my way towards Lake Louise. That's where I'll stay. It's just 30 minutes down the street. I'm going to stop at 2 or 3 quick things on the way. Nature at its best. Well, it's a little dark now, but just outside the town of Lake Louise is Mount Temple. You can see right there. Lots of snow on that one. And it's 3,544 meters tall. Welcome to the town or village of Lake Louise. Good night. Well, good morning everyone. Welcome to Lake Louise. I have mixed emotions this morning. Happy that I've had great weather, honestly, for my many months on the road, I've had just rain 3 or 4 times. So I'm happy for that. However, I'm sad today because it's raining. And I'm at Lake Louise. I'm in the town right now and I'm about to head to the lake itself. But unfortunately you can't see many of the mountains. It's very cloudy because of the rain. So I was looking at the map and I was looking at the weather and I was thinking, do I just stick around for a day? But it looks like it's supposed to be cloudy tomorrow and possibly rain. And then actually on Sunday, in about 2 or 3 days, it's supposed to snow. So I either wait to get the perfect weather here, but perhaps get worse weather as I get further up north into Jasper, or I just go see what I see today and keep on moving. So that's the plan, blah, blah, blah. Enough talking, let's go see Lake Louise. So Lake Louise itself is about 4 kilometers from the town, and it's pretty much uphill, so the lake is actually elevated. And as you can see, it's cloudy, but looks like the sun's trying to break out, so maybe I'll get some luck and get some blue skies towards the end of the visit. Gonna do some hiking around the lake. So there you have it, famous Lake Louise. The clouds are starting to part a little bit. You can see, well, it's clearer than I thought it was gonna be. And it's definitely super touristy. I made a bucket list many years ago. I had about 120 things on it, and I've scratched probably 100 of them off. And I noticed probably 60 to 70% on that bucket list wasn't near as exciting as the stuff that I'd never heard of. So if you're making your bucket list, go do it, but explore much more than that bucket list, because that's always the better stuff. I think the highlight of this place is the color of this water. The camera doesn't really show it, but it is like a turquoise blue. Ah, there you go, now you can see it better. The color is incredible. So looking at the map, there's a couple different things you can do. You can actually walk around Lake Louise, not completely around it, but all the way around on one side and all the way around on the other. It just doesn't completely do a 360. Or you can take this path all the way up the mountain, which is Lake Agnes Trail. And you can see the lake from above. So that's what I'm gonna do. Also on this trail, there's something called the beehives. Not sure exactly what that is. I'll see when I get up there, but also Mirror Lake is up at the top, about 3 kilometers. So I'm about halfway on Lake Agnes Trail, halfway to Mirror Lake, and here is the beauty of Lake Louise. Look at the color of the water. Wow. Well, now I understand why they call it the Big Beehive. It does look like a beehive. And why they call it Mirror Lake. Now it looks like a tiny little pond, until I show you in perspective the guy standing next to it, or sitting next to it, with his husky. As you can see, it's really starting to snow now. It's actually little mini hail balls. Well, it's now really starting to snow, and I decided to walk out onto this waterfalls right on the cliff because I'm an idiot, just to see the view. Well, I made it to the top where they have built a nice little cafe, place to warm up and have some hot chocolate. Welcome to Lake Agnes. Even the husky made it. Well, it's too bad it's so cloudy. And the temperature has dropped. It's probably 0. Whew, it's cold up here. Here's some information for you. Lake Louise is a glacial lake. Meltwaters from 6 glaciers at the head of its valley feed the lake. Not surprisingly, the water is cold, less than 10 degrees Celsius in the summer. It can be frozen from November to June. The ice can be more than 1 meter thick. The lake is 70 meters deep. Most rock flour settles to the bottom of the lake over the winter. The few particles still suspended create an intense blue. Well, I just got back to the van, just in time, the moment I got in it. Take a look. There's a giant, well, rain/hailstorm. It's going crazy out there. It's gonna be cold sleeping tonight. Well, it's my first snowstorm of the year. Well, I've got some luck on my side because the moment I pulled over to the lookout point for Hector Lake, the clouds parted and the sun came out. This might be the most spectacular view I've seen with this trip so far. It's unbelievable. Look close enough, you can see the glacier in the middle of that mountain. Waterfowl Lake. Alright, I'm now at Mistaya Canyon. If you want to pause the video and read this, feel free. Let's go check it out. Okay, I have to say this. I've seen a lot of canyons with my travels, but this one is friggin' awesome. I'll try and follow it a bit with the camera. So the river comes down and it actually zigzags through these very smooth, let me see, oh, there you can see some of the water there. Shoots down through here, under the bridge. So I've seen a lot of canyons, a lot of crazy swirling rivers and waterfalls and whatever, and that one blew my mind. That's, wow, you have got to see that. So I'm going to say this, I am very happy I bought this van, renovated it into a camper van and did this road trip. Unbelievable. And if you want to talk about money, this baby right here has saved me a pile of money by being able to cook and sleep inside that. So get here and do this. North Saskatchewan River. So as you can see, I've got my blue lights on because I'm doing some computer work. I just turned off the computer and I was about to go to sleep, and I looked outside and there's about 3 inches of snow on the van. I guess it was snowing while I was working on my computer. So it's bloody frickin' freezing now. I've got my little butane stove on, a little bit of heat, and I'm wrapped up and I'm about to go to sleep. And if you don't hear from me again, it's because I froze to death halfway between Banff and Jasper. Good night. Well, good morning everyone. I have some bad news this morning. Snow on the roof of the little chalet and lots of snow up in the mountains. There was more snow, but some of it's melted, so it might be warming up a bit. So unfortunately, the remainder of this video might be very white. Not as colorful and blue with green trees as the beginning part of the video. So I had to get my sleeping bag out of my backpack underneath. I'm gonna have to try this tonight with my blankets. And the funny thing is even my bananas turned black. They were like pretty yellow last night when I went to sleep, so I guess the cold just hit everything in here. I even put a tarp on the back of the van to stop the wind. I think it actually helped. It did stop the wind, but it definitely didn't stop the cold. So this huge mountain straight up ahead is called Circus Mountain, this entire thing. All the green trees have a touch of white. The sun is shining. The blue skies have come out. Well, I totally take back what I said this morning about bad weather and crappy views, because it doesn't get any better than this. Now we have yellow, green, blue, and white. Honestly, I've been Canadian my whole damn life and I did not know we had this. Oh my lord. Well, a lot of times people ask me what the hardest thing is about my travels, about my around the world journey, and even this road trip. And I'll tell you what it is. Right here. It is amazing to see the things I've seen, but sometimes it's tough when you do it alone. Welcome to Columbia Icefield. So that building there is the Columbia Icefield Center, which I may or may not go in, but across the street, and it just finished snowing, but it's still pretty foggy out there. That's the Athabasca Glacier. So I've parked the car. I'm going to follow this pathway here, and it goes all the way up to the top where you can see the glacier on the other side. So as I can tell, they have tours, bus tours, that actually run along a road up here, and they park in the middle of the glacier. I walked on a glacier a few times in Alaska, so I'm going to pass on the tour. 2 days ago everything was green, and then it started to snow, and now we have ice. And this kid's going crazy on the ice. Good job, buddy! Now this stop has a walkout, see-through glass floor, but I think it's closed at this point. I'm going to check it out anyways and see the canyon below. Yep, $40 to go on the skywalk. Hell no, I could see the same damn thing without going on the skywalk. A lot of beauty here in Alberta, but it's super overpriced, so you got to be damn rich to explore Alberta. So I just pulled off the main highway onto a tiny little street. I'm heading to see Sunwapta Falls. Well, this is an absolutely stunning viewpoint. It's called Goat Lick Viewpoint, but my lens is just not wide enough to capture all of it. So let me try and show you in sections. Look at how blue the water is. All the glacial water. Next Next up we have Athabasca Falls. Alright, so I gotta share something with you. I finally have mastered sleeping in the cold. It took a couple of nights, but it's kind of tricky with the whole van life thing. In the heat, in the summer when it's hot out, you gotta park under the shade of a tree, because if you wake up in the morning and you're in the sunlight, you die of heat. It's obviously in reverse in the winter. Park in open space so you can get the sun as quick as it comes up. However, open space means windy. So I have a tarp that I put on the trunk and I bungee corded it so it keeps the draft from blowing in where my head is at the back of the van. Park in the sun, but I also park in the direction of the wind so the wind will hit the front of the van and not me at the back. So when I find a place to park, I go outside and I check the wind. I gotta pull over in a second here. I check the wind. And then also I slept with my blinds open, my drapes, so the sun could come in quicker. And actually it wasn't as cold. I wore 2 hoodies, got in my sleeping bag this time instead of just the blankets. The sleeping bag, obviously people know about sleeping bags, it keeps the heat inside, blah blah. So I was warmer in the sleeping bag. And also I lit my 5 tea lights and they were burning next to me, and it was like -6 last night, so I did okay. Woo! Next up on our adventure is the Valley of the 5 Lakes, and as you can see I am right here. Gonna do this hike along lake number 1, number 2, number 3, 4, and 5. Should take about an hour. Lake number 1. Lake number 2. Lake number 3. This is a big one. Lake number 4. And the big finale, lake number 5. So this is the 5 lakes. Definitely a beautiful place to visit. The video you just watched was from Banff National Park all the way through to Jasper Town in Jasper National Park. So not Banff itself, that was the previous video, and Jasper's going to be the next video. So this was everything in between. And honestly, this is probably 50% of what you're going to see. There is a lot to see. I'm standing on a bridge, obviously, so it's a little bit loud. But the views are spectacular, so get your butt to Alberta and do this trek from Banff to Jasper. It's unreal. So thank you for watching my video, everyone, and the next video is the town of Jasper, which is just around the corner.